What's going on, everybody? John Eric Pola here with MyMMANews, and I'm very excited to talk to today's fighter because they had such an important role here so far in 2021. A lot of history made here, and the person I'm talking to is Punahele Soriano, better known as Puna for short, and that's what we're going to call him today. The reason why I'm so excited to talk to Puna is because at UFC Fight Island 7, if you recall way back when, it seems like it was a little while ago, it was the beginning of January. There was the first event of 2021. It was also the first event to ever be broadcasted on ABC, so what an historic thing for the UFC. And if you recall, Puna got a first round knockout in that fight, the first one of 2021. So a lot of firsts there for Puna. So let's bring Puna in here. Puna, how you doing, my man? Thank you so much for taking time out of your day, too, to talk to us about this epic fight on the history that you made there.
Of course, of course. I'm glad to be here. It's an honor to be here. Yeah, it was fun. A lot of eyes on me that fight. Did a lot of good things. First KO, first finish of the year. And I think one thing that's kind of on my mind as one of my most favorite things I accomplished was I broke the Hawaii curse. Apparently, no Hawaii fighter has won in Abu Dhabi since like 2010. Dating all the way back to like Kendall Grove, so it felt good to get one for us.
How about that? That's something there. I never even realized that it's been that long for the people there of Hawaii to get a win out there.
Yeah.
So, hey, congratulations though, breaking the curse as well. Before we get into more of this fight though, one of the things that I wanted to ask you about, you made your debut back, I believe it was UFC 245, it was in 2019. You had to miss all of 2020 with hip surgery. So just kind of tell everybody a little bit about the hip and what it was like, your road just to get to this point, dealing with that injury and fighting through all of that.
Yeah, so the hip injury really sucked. I really couldn't tell you how it happened. I went to a normal Monday practice, a grappling practice. Didn't feel anything was wrong. Went home that night, and I went to bed. Just normal night. Woke up at like 4 in the morning and just the worst pain ever. Just like I know I'm normally like a super heavy sleeper. Nothing wakes me up, but I just woke up in pain, just agony. And I kind of like inched my way off the bed and made it into the tub somehow. I thought I was just cramping really bad. And I made like a Epsom salt bath and just kind of suffered all morning until I could finally make it into the PI when they opened. And, just my whole leg was swollen, my whole hip was swollen. We still don't know really what happened, but we've just been dealing with it since then. I remember not even being able to walk. Literally just all day I'm just in pain, just on the couch. No matter what I do, I'm just in pain no matter what.
So this is still bothering you. This is like still a current thing that's still bothering you. You're still dealing with the injury?
Not so much the hip, but like I think just through like compensation and whatnot, while coming back, I got a little bug in my back that's been bothering me. But I had that throughout like the whole camp, and I was able to kind of stay a step ahead of it. But I think now, while I took some time off after camp, it kind of aggravated back up. But we're still like getting back in the gym and working back into getting ahead of that again.
Now I know the PI has been fantastic to all the fighters.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something like they have their finger right on the pulse here? They're monitoring it, making sure you're all okay and that you're good to go, or is this something that you might have to go see a specialist outside of the PI for?
Potentially both. While I was going through camp, like we probably could have seen a specialist or something, but I don't know. I didn't really want to go that far. Like I just wanted to focus on the camp. Didn't want to let my mind drift too far. But now I'm ready to go as far as I need to go to take care of it. I got a little time before whatever's next, so I want to make sure I'm 100% healthy, get everything fixed. But these guys here are great. Heather, Bobby, Tara, everyone else at the PI, they do an amazing job at facilitating all your injuries and making sure you're at the best of your game.
So now let's talk about some more happier things here. Let's go to the fight there, the big win over Dusko Todorovic. In the fight, you were throwing a lot of haymakers at him there. You were really swinging at him there. So I guess first let's talk a little about the game plan. Was that the game plan to come out swinging like that? Because it's a bold strategy. Because a lot of people think if you throw a lot of, when you're swinging for the fences like that, you might tire out later in the fight. Just kind of tell everybody a little bit how you felt in there. Did you feel that you were starting to maybe lose some stamina the way you were throwing at him before you finally caught him late in the round?
Maybe. I don't know. But the thing is, like, I'm not afraid to get tired. I'm going out there to fight and I'm going out there to win. So I'm gonna go out there and just put it on my opponent. Um, I don't know. I don't care to get tired. Like, if I get tired, so what? I hope the other guy's tired too, or at least her, so it makes it worth it, But I'm not afraid to get tired at all. I work really hard in the gym. I work really hard outside of the gym. I feel like I do a lot of things correctly, and I'm really well rounded. And I think that's what allows me to fight in that crazy of a fashion. And I don't know. That's just my plan, my style. I just go out there and I fight.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about the style too. There, obviously, you're very well established as a high school wrestler. You were a state champion back when you were in high school. Now we're seeing you drop people with the hands. Do you feel that you're evolving the correct way to make a big statement here in the mixed martial arts world?
Yeah, it's funny. I won states for high school wrestling, and I also won in judo, and I went on to become an All-American in college for wrestling as well. And I remember when I very first started training as like an amateur, I remember just thinking like, I don't want to be that guy that just wrestles everyone. I don't want to just be a wrestler. And that was kind of my focus from my very first days of training. Even though I went in just on wrestling days, I was like, I don't want to just be a wrestler if I do continue this path. And it turned out to be working. I know I have the wrestling in my back pocket if I need it. And it's also there to keep the feet standing when I need it. To keep the fight standing when I need it.
Well, if you're going to be dropping bombs on people like that, your hands will always take care of the rest. And I want to ask you, too, when you landed, the first shot that you landed, it was so clean. You sent him right down. You ended up doing that about 3 or 4 more times throughout the fight. Were you surprised just how long he was able to stay in there and keep absorbing those shots? Because you were hitting him with some bombs.
Yeah, that's crazy. He's ridiculously tough. A few shots, like I punched straight through his face. And he just took it, It was crazy. But I don't think it was a surprise. I feel like I was ready for his toughness. I try to plan a little more. Like if I think they're extremely tough, extremely skillful, whatever that may be, I try to put them a little higher than what they are, just in case. You never know what you're gonna get. So I try to put my thoughts a little bit higher, just to kind of make myself a little bit better as well.
So one of the things too with this fight, which made it very unique, one of those big heavy shots, his mouthpiece goes flying right out of his mouth. When it happens, Herb Dean stops the action to get him a new mouthpiece because it went flying out of the octagon. He was hurt when this happened. Like he was almost like on his way out with his legs there. They were hardly underneath him. When I'm watching, I'm like, oh geez, he's gonna, you went from being in the spot where you're about to finish him to where he's gonna have this time to recover. Obviously, we know that didn't happen. You were still able to go out there and finish him. But when that was going on, what was going through your mind? Were you thinking the same thing, like he's going to be able to recover from this because they're taking so long to get him a new mouthpiece?
There was a split second. I kind of had that thought. Like, I started to come to with my thoughts, and I kind of thought, like, oh, man, he's going to get some time to recoup. And then I kind of felt like when you get some negative thoughts in your head, I could kind of feel that coming on. So I, like, shut my brain off again real quick and just kind of went black again. And I got real lucky. I really didn't know how much time was left on the clock. Like when I went back and rewatched the fight, I was really grateful that I put the gas back on him. I didn't know how little time was left, and like if I was to just kind of just pepper him and feel him out some more, round could have ended. But luckily, I put the gas back on him and finished him.
So now we started the interview, we're talking about your hip injury, now you're talking a little about your back injury, now we just talked about the fight. Let's kind of bring this full circle to everybody. Just how emotional were you afterwards, after having to miss all of 2020, being sidelined with the injury, to then be able to come out and get a big win on Fight Island on such a big stage like that?
Yeah, it's funny. Every fight I like to have like a little celebration planned of like a in the octagon celebration, something that like motivated me from a movie or show I've watched. And man, I just completely like skipped it. Like I thought right through it. I was just so emotional. Just a whole year of emotional buildup from pain, agony, and everything else you could think of, just building up in that year. And I just let it out, just yelling, and plus the crowd was there, and I fed off of that. And I don't know, it's really hard to explain, but it was an exciting feeling.
I could imagine. Now I know when you were just saying there, like you have things usually plan in your head what you want to say afterwards? You said you kind of let the emotions run through. You didn't get to do it. What was the plan? What was it for that fight? You had something planned?
Just I kind of did it at the end when the ref raised my hand. It's like a rapper Blueface. He has a dance, and I did the Blueface dance. But I don't know, something silly like that normally.
So now I want to ask you too about somebody you went to high school with, fellow UFC. Well, he's a featherweight. He's not in your roster, but a friend of yours from high school, fellow fighter in the UFC, Dan Inge. I want to ask you first off. He has a big fight coming up here in a couple weeks in March against, I believe he's fighting Ryan Hall. I know you guys are teammates over there, Extreme Couture. Just how's he been doing in the gym, and how's he looking ahead of that fight?
He's been good. I'm super excited for him. Me and Dan have known each other for a long time, and it's a great feeling whenever each one of us get to fight. Like the support we give each other is great from start to finish of the camp, and it's funny. Like we support each other 100%. There's no doubts at all when it comes to each other, but at the same time, I know for a fact that we're so nervous for each other. Like I hate watching Dan fight. I get completely nervous. The most nervous I get for anyone. And I don't know if I'm the worst, most nervous for him as well, but I know I make him pretty nervous too. But it's exciting. He's looking really good. He's confident in his ground game, and I know I'm confident in him too, and I know he's gonna do great things in that fight.
So now I have to ask if the story is true about Dan. When you're getting ready to make your UFC debut back at UFC 245, you wanted to have him in your corner. Obviously, he's a very close friend of yours. He's in the UFC a little longer than you had been at that point. Is it true that he said, "Listen, I would like to do it, but just so you know, every person I've ever cornered has lost." So now you're like, well, I appreciate you. You're not in my corner. It's not happening.
Yeah. He's like, I'll corner you because we knew Oscar as like a good jiu-jitsu guy. They're like, it would be nice to have a black belt in my corner as well. And Dan knows my style, so he's like, yeah, it'd be nice to have. I'm willing to go in your corner. Then he had like one little caveat. He's like, but I've never won in the corner before. I was like, oh man, I can't take that chance. I'm sorry.
So what was he like in high school then? Because you guys go back, way back to when you guys were growing up in Hawaii. There, what was he like when he was in high school?
Funny, goofy, the same person, same person. He had that same drive, but it wasn't quite as honed in as it is now. Of course, he's had years to develop it and whatnot. But we were the same but different in a lot of ways. Like we're both really goofy, really silly. We're still like that now, but Dan's grown so much since then. He's really serious now. He's really focused. I think the biggest thing from Dan now and Dan then is that he um, probably believes in himself more. Like Dan only started wrestling, I think, like his junior year, and he was able to place in states the following year, his senior year. He probably should have been in the finals, but I just don't know if he fully believed himself or like just like little things missing. But now Dan's like developed everything, and like he does all the little things correctly. He does all the big things correctly, and he just became like a true professional.
So now here we are, current day 2021. When you guys, the two of you, both look back to your time when you were in high school there, do you guys ever, did you think back then, like, fast forward to now, you guys would be in the UFC, fighting on the biggest stage, training at a gym like Extreme Couture, living this lifestyle that so many people would love to live?
Yes and no. It's funny. We've always talked about being in the UFC. We've always talked about fighting. But I never. I don't know if he knew. I definitely didn't know what it really meant to like be in this lifestyle. But every day we'd like catch the bus and stuff, or catch it home from a late night wrestling practice. We just like talk about what it'd be like to be in the UFC or just fighting in general. I remember writing an essay about how I'm gonna like start my career in Pride and then probably end up in the UFC. Like weird, but not having any idea what it really meant to live this lifestyle. It's just funny that we both ended up here.
Do you still have that essay? Like, do you still have it? Look back at it when you think about it?
No, and I'm glad I don't have it. That thing probably looked terrible. It probably had the worst writing, the worst spelling. I remember specifically. I wrote in the essay, I was like, oh, I'm wrestling now. I just need to work on my punching and kicking. And I was so embarrassed because we had like a peer correcting, peer editing. And the girl next to me like crossed off punching and kicking and wrote boxing and kickboxing. And I was like, oh, it's so obvious. Like, why wouldn't I think to like write that? You know, I probably look like such a dork. I don't know.
So, all right, Puna, before I let you go, I have just a few more things for you here. We touched on a lot of different things, but I have to ask about your future now. Obviously, you fought so early, you fought in January. So you missed all of 2020. What's the rest of the year looking like for you? Do you want to get in there at least 2 more times, maybe, that you fought so early?
Yeah, I would like to get in 2, 3 more times. I do have a wedding in like mid-March. My buddy's getting married, so I'm gonna go back home for that. But I'm getting back into the gym now. I'm looking to get back in maybe like mid-May or something.
So now, obviously, the UFC seems to be, with coronavirus, having Fight Island in Vegas. You made your debut in Vegas. You just fought in Abu Dhabi. Do you have a preference? Would you rather fight in Vegas then, or would you, if a card comes back up on Fight Island, are you all about it? Sign me up.
100% Vegas. But if it's in Fight Island, we've been there. We know we can do it, so why not? It's no biggie. Either one, no biggie. But if I had a choice, I would like to stay home.
All right, Puna, we appreciate the time. Before you roll out, though, your social media management, sponsors, anything like that you want to plug, please feel free to do so.
Punahele Soriano on pretty much everything. Maybe an underscore or something. I'm not really sure. Sucker Punch, Perfect Sports, Extreme Couture, everyone.
All right, everybody, there you have it. That was the undefeated Punahele Soriano. Puna, thank you for the time today. We appreciate it. We're looking forward to seeing what you do in the rest of 2021. Hopefully, we'll see you 2 more times here in the new year. And to everybody that's watching this interview, just want to remind you guys, like I always do, subscribe to this YouTube channel. You'll get to see more interviews just like this. And remember to keep going to My MMA News and checking out all the great content that we put out there. We'll see you later, everybody.